Okay, welcome back. So in the last video, I had you add some more methods to the array methods class, and specifically those were the linear search and the findMin methods. Now you'll notice I have two linear search methods. One is for an array of ints, and one is for an array of strings. Um, Okay, so just recall that the array methods class is just a collection of popular array methods. We have quite a few already. We have some print array methods, one for each data type array. We have a sum array and average array methods. And then we have these linear search and findMin. Notice again that this class does not have a main method, so we can't run this method. You can never run it. It's not a runnable class. So what is it used for? It's just used by other classes to call these methods, just so we don't have to keep retyping these methods over and over again in every new class we create. Okay, so the first linear search method takes in an int array and an int key, and it just searches the array for the key, and if it when it finds it, it returns I, and if it doesn't find it, it returns -1. Okay, and then we made an overloaded method. So we made another linear search method, same name, and you're allowed to do this as long as the parameter types are different. So this has a string array and a string key. So now we're just searching through the array for the key. And notice you can't use equals equals because it's a string array. We have to use the dot equals method. Okay, then we made a findMin method. Okay, so the first findMin method takes in an array, and this is an array of ints, and this method is going to return the index of the smallest element in the array. So here's a little example here. If I have an array of ints, this is going to return 2, because that's the index of the smallest value in that array. All right, so this is the code that would do that for you. And then here is the same overloaded method for an array of strings. So this method does the same thing, except it doesn't give you the shortest string. Let's be clear on that. This method gives you the index of the alphabetic lowest element in the array. So for example, cat, apple, and dog, apple would be the lowest alphabetically, meaning it comes first in the dictionary. So this method would return the index of apple, which would be 1. Okay, so hope that makes sense. Now, how would you do this code? Well, of course, you'd have to change the array coming in, the input parameter. You'd have to change that to a string array. And then this min value variable would have to be a string because that's storing the actual element inside the array. And then everything else is the same except for this if statement here. So we cannot use less than or greater than for strings. So we have to use the compare to method. And if you remember, compare to, it subtracts ASCII values of the first characters that are different. So basically I'm just saying if this method call gives me a negative number, okay, then that means ARRI must be less than alphabetically min value. Okay, so if the compare to method gives me back a negative number, it means that this string is alphabetically less than this string. Okay, like for example, if this was apple and this was dog, then you would get a negative number. You would get -3 back from that. Okay, and so if that's the case, then I'm going to reassign min value and min index. So this loop will go all the way to the end. And if we find a lower string alphabetically, then I'm going to reassign these two values. Okay, hopefully that made sense. If there's any issue or if you're still not quite understanding this, send me an email, come speak to me, and we can look at another example. Okay, so how do I test these methods out? Well, I have another class here called creating arrays 3, and I'm going to change the name of this class. I don't like the name of it. I'm going to call this testing array methods. Okay, and then if I just give that a compile, that changes the name of the class right here. Okay, so I did a little bit of extra work. I imported scanner and I created two scanner variables, one to input ints and one to input strings. Um, so yeah, so why did I do that? Like, why did I create a scanner? Because down here, when I'm testing out my linear search, I'm asking the user to enter a search key. So I'm letting the user enter what they want to look for, like what they want to search for through the array. Okay, so first off, I'm creating an int array of size 25, and I'm just filling it up with random ints between 1 and 100, and then I'm printing the array, and then I am printing the sum of the elements, the average of the elements, and then I'm asking the user to enter any search key. So they're going to enter a number, an int, and then I'm going to test linear search. So you'll see here I'm saying array methods.linear search, and then the name of my array, which is randoms, that's the name of my array, and then key, and that's the value that they entered. Okay, and then I'm also testing the findMin method. So I'm saying array methods.findMin randoms. Okay. Then I'm doing this again, but with a string array. So rather than creating a random string array, I just created a small 6-element array of countries just to test out linear search and findMin. So what I'm doing is printing my array of countries, and then once again I'm asking the user to enter a search key. So now this is a string. They can enter any string that they want, and then I'm going to try and find it within my countries array. So you'll see this time I have the countries array and key 2 passed as parameters to the linear search method. So because this is a string array and this is a string, it's going to call the appropriate linear search method. We have 2 linear search methods, but it will call the appropriate one. Okay, and then I'm testing out the findMin value on my countries array. Okay, let's compile this and run it and just have a look and see what it gives. Okay, so there is my first int array of 25 random values, and then it's telling me the sum and the average, and now it's stopping, asking for a key. So if I enter, let's say 23, because that's right here, this should give me back an answer of 2, because the index of that value is 2, so 0, 1, 2. All right, so if I press enter, okay, so it says the index at which 23 is found, 2, perfect. And then it also gave me the index of the smallest value. So this is testing out the findMin method, and it says 17. So this is index 0, this is index 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yep, that looks like the smallest value in the array at index 17. So it looks like everything's okay with my int array. And so then I am printing my string array of countries, and it's asking for a search key. So let's put in, let's put India, and then it should give me 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It should give me 4 as my index. Yes, good, that worked. And then it also told me the index of the smallest value is at 3. Now again, smallest means alphabetically smallest. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's saying that Canada would be alphabetically the smallest. In other words, Canada would be the first in the dictionary, and that is true. Okay. All right, so everything seems okay here. I'd invite you to dress up your testing method, your main method. You could even copy mine just to get you started if you would like, and then you could enter in your own search keys and just make sure that your methods are working. Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to do something pretty small here, but what I want to do is I want to modify my findMin methods. I have 2 findMin methods, and we're just going to make a small modification to them, and I'll show you what we want here. So if I run this program one more time. All right, so here's my random array, and okay, let's just enter a search key. Let's put 89. Okay, that's found right at the beginning at index 1. Okay, and then it's telling me that the smallest value is at position 19. Let's just confirm that. Okay, this is index 0, this is index 10, and so that's going to be index 19. So yes, that's correct. So findMin is working perfectly. But I want to make a small modification. I want to change the findMin so that I can choose the starting position of the search. So for instance, maybe I want to find the smallest value in just the last row. So maybe I want to ignore and skip the first 20 elements, but I only want to find the smallest value of the last 5. Okay, so if that were the case, what would the answer be? So if I wanted to ignore the first 20 and just find the smallest value in the last 5, okay, what would the answer be? Well, the smallest of these is right here at 13. Now, so what index is that? That's index 20. Okay, out of the entire array, that would be index 20. So what I want to do is, if I go back to my testing here. Okay, so let's go back to this. So this is the line where I'm testing findMin. I want to be able to put a second parameter, and I want to put any number there. So let's say 20, and it will start looking for the minimum value at index 20. So basically, it will ignore all the values before that, and it will just give me the minimum value starting here and going to the end of the array. Now, I want to be able to put any number in there. So let's say starting at 10. And so then it will start at index 10 and look for the smallest element going to the end of that array. Okay, so right now if I compile, this is going to crash because, because my program is running. Let's just reset that. But if I compiled right now, it's not going to work because it says, hey, findMin doesn't have 2 parameters, it only has 1 parameter. So I am going to go to array methods, and let's look at our first findMin method. Here it is. This is the findMin for int arrays. And so we want to add a second parameter here, just an int, not another array, but just an int, and I'm going to call it start. So this is going to be like my starting index. Okay. So how would I change this code? Well, instead of making min value the very first value of the array, I'm going to make it the element stored at index start. Okay, so we're going to assume the minimum value is this value, the element in the array at index start. And then my min index is going to be start. All right. And then I'm going to make my loop. We don't want to make I, because remember I represents the little index values of the array. So instead of making I equal to 1, let's make I begin at start plus 1. So I is going to be 1 element after start. And then everything else should be fine. We have the same algorithm here. We're just looking for a smaller value, and if we find it, we're going to store that new value into min value, and then the new index into min index, and then I'm returning min index. Okay, so I'm going to change this comment up here. This method accepts an int array and an int start value. And returns the index of the smallest element in the array starting at index start. Okay, so we're going to start looking for the minimum value at this index. Okay, hope this makes sense. If go rewind and watch again if you kind of missed it, and then if you're still not understanding, come and speak to me. But maybe this will click in once we see it running. So I'm going to go back to my testing method, so my testing class, so my main class, and now I should be able to run this with a starting parameter. So let's once again, I'm going to change that to 20, and I'm going to compile it and run it. Okay, so here's my array. Here's my sum. Here's my average. Okay, enter a search key. Let's just put anything down. I'll put 99. So it should give me -1 because it's not found in the array. Yes, -1. But then here's what I want you to look at right here. So it's saying that the index of the smallest value is 21. And that's because I'm starting at index 20, which is right here. So basically I'm just looking at the bottom row, the last 5 values, and I'm looking for the smallest element. And here it is right here at index 21. Now, if you look at the entire array, the smallest value is right here at, that looks like it's index 14. But I have added a start parameter that starts the search here, looking for the smallest value. Okay, and then I'm just going to quit out of this. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. Now, why are we doing this? Why did we just mess this up? Well, we actually didn't really mess it up. Like if I still wanted to find the min of the whole array, I could just put 0 in here and then recompile it. Kill this process here. Okay, so if I were to rerun it with a 0 as my second parameter, then it still searches the whole array. So it says that the index of the smallest value is 9, which is right here. Okay, so we just have the luxury now of adding a start parameter, and you can put 0 there, or you can put whatever number you want. Now, why are we doing this? What we're going to do next is sort a list of numbers. So we're going to sort arrays very soon. And by adding this parameter here, this will help us to do that. Okay. So that's where we're headed next. But we'll end the video with this. What I'm going to ask you to do is to try to modify the other findMin method, so the one for string arrays. I want you to do the same thing. Add a second parameter called start, and I want you to make a modification so that this findMin will do the same thing as this findMin. So I'll leave that as an exercise. Okay, thanks for watching.